played, if he took the drops and everything, Chandler would be, and we're live now.
The thing is about golf is I don't have as many blow up holes as you do, Gino. Like I'm not gonna shoot a 9. I'm gonna have a double bogey, and that's gonna be my biggest blow up hole.
I like to see
know?
it. Yeah, it's because you just take your +2 and walk away. That's it.
Yeah, but Gino hits the ball so far. If he just gets it straight, I mean, he's basically 100 yards or less in.
He's usually putting once he drives.
Dude, he hit some bombs today. Missiles.
Yeah, I've never seen someone swing so hard.
Yeah, he does.
You should consider doing a long drive competition, Gino.
Maybe
start training.
They start training for the long drive. Quit real estate and go long driving.
That's right, dude.
All right, so guys, today we have the very, very dominant golf player and real estate investor, Big Jeffrey Johnson, located in Georgia. Jeffrey, why don't you give some people here, that are watching or that will be watching here coming up, give us some, background on who Jeffrey Johnson is, maybe how you started in real estate, but anything too before you want to add.
Yeah, well, I mean, basically if I'm not golfing, I'm doing real estate. That's pretty much, golfing, real estate, or maybe I'm down at the Braves game. Like you said, I live in Atlanta, huge Braves fan. But real estate's kind of been my thing ever since I left college back in 2012, 11, 12. I was in college playing baseball, and I was big into baseball. And I kind of decided that, baseball wasn't going to keep, working. So I got out of baseball, got my real estate license when I was 21. And, I just absolutely sucked for like 2 years. I wish that I had the resources that are available now to people like YouTube and, podcasts and things like that. But, back then it wasn't quite there yet. So basically I just worked as a buyer's agent, as a listing agent for a few years. Really didn't have any understanding of what investing was or how to wholesale, how to flip. I kind of heard about it, but didn't really do much about it. And then in 2016, I represented a wholesaler on a transaction where we did like a wholesale. He wholesaled a portfolio of homes, and he ended up making like $100K on this one deal. And it just blew my mind. I just couldn't believe that somebody just made $100K on a single deal. And, I made my commission on it. And it was a good commission, but, it was obviously nothing compared to what he just made. So basically after the deal, I just said, hey man, you got to tell me like, what are you doing? Like, how did this happen? You gotta show me the way pretty much. So this guy's name was Kyle Wells. He was really cool. He kind of took me under his wing for a few months, kind of showed me a little bit about wholesaling, investing. And then I ended up going to work for like a house flipping company for 6 months, worked as their acquisition manager, and learned a ton of stuff, just learned as much as I could. And then basically after that was, kind of mid 2017, I left that company, started my own company. And ever since then, I've just been flipping homes as much, as many as I can every year, kind of been doing more and more every year since then.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So what did you, when you linked up with this guy who's teaching you how to wholesale, like, did you just approach him and like say it as casually as you did? Like, how did you kind of go into finding that mentor? Cause besides just asking, is that pretty much all it was? Like, how'd you provide value?
Well, we had a pre-existing relationship because I represented him, or actually I brought a buyer to that deal, so we already kind of had that relationship where I brought the buyer. And, he honestly, though, he was cool. He definitely could have just told me to go like figure it out on my own. But I think that what he did for me was super helpful. And that's something that I, try to do my best at with people who approach me for knowledge on real estate, at this point. Because, when you're just getting started and you don't really know what to do, it's super helpful to have somebody kind of take you along and show you what they did and what works and what doesn't work.
Yeah, for sure. So what kind of advice and guidance did he give you, obviously outside of just teaching you all the wholesaling stuff?
Well, I mean, essentially what he did was he opened my eyes to the world of the distressed seller because, when you just work in retail, you don't really know what a distressed seller is because all you deal with are people who are selling their home, because they need to move or they, I mean, basically they people that sell retail, they have their stuff together most of the time. And he opened my eyes up to this entire world of people who are in distress and selling retail just doesn't work for them. So, I didn't even know that a pre-foreclosure, I didn't know what a pre-foreclosure was. I didn't know what a tax lien was, what, somebody had a code violation. None of those things even existed to me. So when he kind of opened my eyes to like, hey, if you find these people who have this level of distress and you market to them in a certain way and you do it consistently over a period of time, you're going to get leads, you're going to get deals, and here's how you close the deal. So that's essentially what he showed me, and then I just kind of obviously took it from there.
That's awesome. I like it. I think that's a big thing because I think, like someone down here said in the Facebook group, figuring out your own sucks. You have no idea what you're doing. It's like swimming in the dark.
Yep.
That's what Alex said.
Is it Alex?
No, it's Alex. I don't even know how to pronounce his last name. But yeah, Alex, it does suck, right? That's why we hire mentors, and like what Jeffrey did. That's why we try to, ask for that help, find that who, not how, like we talk about a lot here.
Yeah, I mean, dude, there's definitely some value in figuring stuff out on your own, but obviously if you can, part of figuring it out is figuring out who to reach out to shorten your learning curve so that you don't have to bang your head against the wall over and over and over.
Yeah. Well, what are some things you could like from like asking like good questions too is like when you do reach out to someone, like how do you like what questions shouldn't like there's things that you should be able to kind of like know, you know what I mean? Like you should have a good understanding where you know what a good question is and a bad question. Do you have any advice on like how you differentiate between the two?
Well, I think, being where I'm at now, 5-6 years into investing, what I don't want to see is somebody who is coming to me with questions and they have done basically no prior research, nothing to prepare themselves ahead of time. Because to me, that tells me that they're just, I don't even know if they're serious, and I don't want to spend my time, talking to somebody who I don't even know if they're serious. So I think the best thing somebody could do is at least have a base knowledge or have some preparation or maybe some very specific questions. I think the question you don't want to ask is, how do I get started in real estate investing? That's so broad, and like, I don't even know how to start, like a better question would be, what motivated lists have you seen the best return on, Jeffrey? Or, what kind of marketing have you been successful at the most with, pre-foreclosures? And I know not everyone's going to know to ask those questions, but just something that shows like there's been some prior research and some effort, because I don't want to put forth all the effort for somebody, and neither do you guys. I mean, I'm sure you have people hitting you up all the time. I mean, what do you guys like to see people, I mean, do you want to see people kind of do that, or what do you think?
Yeah, I'll go first. I think it's the same thing. Is like being able to just know that there's been some due diligence there, and like there's actually there's a purpose for the question. It's not like I'm asking this because I didn't do any work, or like my biggest pet peeve. I'll just go on my pet peeve because I'm just gonna repeat what you said, Jeffrey. Is if you can Google it and get the answer, then those questions piss me off because I'm like, you didn't even try. Like I'm not answering that because you should be more resourceful. Or if there's like people make everybody and their brother makes the YouTube video on that. Like, you know what I mean? Like if those kind of questions that are just so, and it's hard to really say that these are the ones specifically, but it's just like, if those, if you see that clickbait all the time on YouTube and you ask that question, or if I get asked that question, I'm definitely not answering it.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I say the same thing. If the person that's showing effort, and that you obviously know that question's broad as heck. Like some people asking me like, hey, what do you put in a contract to allow you to sign the property? And I'm like, bro, hundreds of people that have put that out there, you know. So it's like stuff like that. Just, I mean, and just at the end of the day, we all started somewhere, but I'm just seeing that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because there's tons of videos out there, like hours and hours of one-time link videos of how to do wholesaling. Or like there's like people like in e-com, because it's something that my brother's doing. It's like there's an 8-hour video of like this guy, exactly how he goes, does product research, how he does all the website building, everything. It's like 8 to 10 hours. Like if you can't figure out how to start doing it from that, then like we got a great question actually from our friend Carson.
What is wholesaling?
What were you gonna say, Jeffrey?
Well, I was just gonna say, you know, I know the three of us, you know, we all really like Ryan Pineda. And you guys ever, you know, I do this all the time. I just say, look, why don't you just YouTube Ryan Pineda and you'll get everything you need.
Yeah, exactly. Max Maxwell, Ryan Pineda.
Yep.
Brent Daniels is another great one.
Yeah, I mean, because Gino, that's how you got started, right? Was Max?
Exactly.
Did you watch a lot of those guys when you were just kind of getting into it?
Yeah, you know, Pace, Brent Daniels, Max.
Yeah, Pace is big.
Pace was probably like the number one guy who gave the most value, I'd say. Yeah, that was probably the biggest one. And then Max Maxwell had some decent stuff, but Brent Daniels has some really fire stuff out there too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say if I'm starting over, like the number one guy that's been consistent, right? Because Max Maxwell was in the beginning when I started, he was giving out everything. And then he went on a cold streak of just, you know, obviously not posting. And then Pace just came incredibly valuable. But like the guy that's been doing it the most consistent has been Brent Daniels. Like that guy is grinding.
Brent Daniels is the GOAT, man. Like anyone who's like asked for beginner advice, I'm like, dude, just go watch Brent Daniels. Just do what he says, you know?
Yep. I like Brent a lot. He's just so optimistic, man. I think that's what I like the most about him. Like he's just always such a good mood.
Yeah, no, he is.
Yeah. Great guy.
And I feel like he really cares about the people that he's like teaching too, you know?
Oh yeah, he was great. I went. Luckily, I got to meet him that one time, last time in Vegas, or not Vegas, Phoenix. And dude, he was just hyped. Like it was just like it was on one of his shows, you know, just hyped, dabbing you up, and getting excited.
Yep.
Yeah, even when we met him at one of the Atlanta meetups, he was just like a super good dude. You know, you could just tell he's got good soul, man.
He's in Phoenix, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, Jeffrey, we know a little bit about how you started out and where you got to where you are, but tell us a little bit, what does your team look like now and what exactly are you doing? You know, what type of real estate or what are you focusing on?
Yeah. So like I was telling you right after you made your eagle earlier.
The true legend right there.
Just legendary eagle. You know, we have 10 people on our team total. So we have 5 people on the sales team. You know, so we got 3 guys that kind of, you know, hit lists pretty hard, call, they answer texts or they respond to warm leads. We have a VA that kind of helps them too. We got a sales manager who kind of manages those guys, kind of looks at the leads that they're bringing in. And then my head of acquisitions, his name's Kyle. He's basically like the main closer, kind of makes sure all the deals are good, vets them, and then he'll eventually just kick them to me for funding. And then we have 2 people on the admin side, and then we have a project manager and then a dispo manager. So we actually just hired the dispo manager. That was the last role that I really felt like was super important for us to get me out of that seat, because that's what I was doing. And we, you know, right now we have 25 properties that we own with title, and we're trying to basically flip them in some kind of way. And that's just way too many for me, you know, as the head, like the visionary to be managing. So, you know, everything that we've purchased this year and last year was all like we take title to it. You know, I know you guys wholesale, I think, you know, a good bit of your properties, but I know you told me you're taking title to some of them as well now too. We take title to everything, then we basically look at it. And we were selling a lot of stuff to Open Door. You know, as you guys probably know, Open Door is, you know, they want a 60-day seasoning period now. So that's put a little bit of a wrench in our plan with them. However, you know, at this point, we're just kind of putting stuff on MLS when we get it, if we don't want to renovate it. So we probably renovate, like send contractors into maybe 20% of our homes. maybe 25%. And the rest, we're either selling it to a hedge fund after we buy it, or we're just putting it on the market as is and just selling it just straight out, you know? I mean, I used to think like, hey, we got to be renovating these homes. We got to be adding value. But I'm realizing like right now, just with where we're at in the market, there's so much demand for like that price point, like the $200,000 to $300,000 price point. You know, I don't know what you guys are seeing, but it's just like you can't. There's so many offers that come in when we list a home at 200,000. You know, it doesn't even matter if it needs a bunch of work. So,
oh yeah, that's like the hot zone, man.
Yep.
Going like hotcakes.
And that's too, Jeffrey, is another part of it is like a lot of not only that price range hot, but you know, it's such a hot market right now that sellers love to buy something that they feel that they have equity or something that they know they can put money into, you know, to fix up.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
it's a big plus, you know?
Yeah. And I don't, this is like at least what we were kind of calculating too a while back. And Jeffrey, you'd probably actually have more insight on this than we do. But a lot of the rehab dollars you'd even put in, like you're not getting, but maybe like a 2 to 10 return. Like if you put $100,000 and you might get $20,000 extra on the back end from actually doing the repairs. So it's not really the time wise, at least what we saw, worth it to do a lot of times.
Some deals, yeah.
No, not at all. And in fact, sometimes I think you could even get less because I think if you just throw it on the market, I think there's so many hedge funds that just have they have this like full-time crews that come in and renovate. And, you know, I don't have a full-time contracting company. So I can't beat their price most likely on renovations. So if they come in and they can do what we would spend 40, if they can do it in 20, then, you know, they'll be able to pay more for that house, which would obviously, you know, make more sense for us to just sell it to them as is.
Yeah. They might be willing to pay the gap between the two and the repair price, you know?
Right. And then, you know, for companies like us, like time is so important in just moving stuff through your pipeline. And so we're always looking at what's the most efficient way we can kind of move this out. You know what I mean? If we feel like if we do a like 10 to 15K, it can really boost the value and really bring in a lot of extra buyers. Like we're going to do that. But, you know, just with where things are at right now, we're really not doing anything more than like 30K renovations.
Yeah. Is that mostly like lipstick stuff or is it like?
Yeah, I mean,
like
pretty. Yeah, I mean, you can't really do. You can't do a whole lot for 30K. You know, I mean, you can come in, paint it, put some carpet in. You know, you can maybe clean up the kitchen a little bit, clean up the bathrooms, but I mean that's pretty much where the 30K ends, and which is kind of crazy because it used to get you a lot further, but I'm kind of learning that it just doesn't do that anymore.
Yeah.
So, you know, but it's worked really well for us, and I don't know how it's going to continue to go as the market shifts and changes. But you know, I feel good about kind of where we're at because really what it comes down to is our ability to buy homes at a discount is so like we're so good at that no matter what the market does, we're going to have opportunity out there.
Yeah. So what are you doing for marketing, Jeffrey? What's your whole marketing looking like? I mean, again, for the guests to hear.
Yep. So right now, you know, we're relatively similar to you guys where we're sending out tons of text messages. You know, prior to last month where we had a little bit of a hiccup, you know, but we fixed it at this point. But prior to that, we were averaging over 20,000 text messages per week. And, you know, that's kind of what the guys that sit behind me in this office, they just sit there all day and they're just fielding those incoming leads and they're kicking it to the manager and they're kicking it to Kyle. And we just kind of run people through that. So we do a lot of texting, and we also are really working hard this year. And we've really seen a lot of it pay off, working on building relationships with, you know, good wholesalers. You know, there's some companies that sell homes that, you know, are not really wholesaling it. They're kind of like, you know, just like online companies like Orchard, stuff like that. So we've built some relationships with companies like that. And we've probably got, I think I wrote here, we have 30% of our deals have come from referrals, like relationships. 60% is from like texting leads. And then I'd say 10% is from like, you know, if our guys are just kind of calling through like motivated seller lists just individually. and just trying to find people and just talk to them. We get a handful of our deals like that. So we've purchased 34 homes so far this year. So, you kind of break it down from there percentage wise.
Yeah, I like that. I think the relation. So you're buying from like Orchard, Sunday. Like, you're buying from those companies as like you're a buy. Interesting.
Yeah, we've seen some really good margins from them on some of our deals. Now, we definitely were using Open Door when we worked with them. Like, we would just sell to Open Door. So I'm not sure if that's going to continue to work, but even if it doesn't, it's okay, because I think we'll just figure out another way to do it.
Yeah, I'm just surprised that they don't just sell to Open Door as big as they are.
You would think, man. And I don't even know if I should say that on this podcast. I doubt Sunday's listening to this. Maybe they are. I don't know. I mean, you guys might be huge. So
no. I know that Open Door sells a lot of deals too to other hedge funds.
They do, yeah. Yeah, so they work with Main Street a lot, and probably some other ones too.
Yeah, Tricon.
Another thing. Yeah, another thing I think was pretty interesting to hit on is like you said, you got 25 deals, you got title or properties you have title on. How much private money is that? That's a lot.
Yeah, I don't know the exact number, but I think it's upwards of 2.5 million. But fortunately, obviously we have a lot of equity in them, but it is a lot of private money, and that's one of the things that as you start investing and as you start building out, like if you're trying to do multiple homes at a time, obviously building relationships with private investors is huge, because I don't like paying 2-3 points on just every time I need to get money. That sucks.
But what's the best ways you found private lenders? I'm sure people are listening like, what the
yeah, private lending, man, it's almost like a fine art in a way, like developing those relationships, because it really depends on who you are, how you connect the best with people, and how people, because it's all about building trust. Like if I have one guy that trusts me totally, and he would just give me all his money, and say, here, invest this, Jeffrey, I know you'll do good, I trust you. If you can just get 1 or 2 relationships like that, what that will do is, as you are successful in returning, giving the guy good returns and making his investment pay off, he's going to refer you to people, and then he's going to refer you to more people, because people with money usually hang out with people with other money, or other people with money. So for me, like, what I've done is I've just tried to really cultivate deeply some relationships that I have with people that I know are really good investor sources. And, we go to Braves games together. We go to dinner, I talk to them on the phone. And those are the relationships that are just super important, because we've gotten a lot of referrals from people like that. And, that's super valuable, because, we were talking earlier about the multifamily apartment complex we purchased last year. A deal like that where the money's tied up for potentially multiple years at a time. If your investors don't really trust you and know you, like, you're going to have a really hard time, at least when you're starting out. If you don't have a bunch of apartment experience, you're going to have a hard time getting people to put money into a deal like that.
For sure.
I would agree. So another question too is, like, once you find a guy like that, let's say he runs out of money, or you just ask him, like, I mean, I'm sure he's probably actually just telling you, hey, look, I have buddies who would be interested in doing this.
Yeah. I mean, once you've proven yourself a little bit with people like that, and you've kind of shown that you can perform, that's when you gain the right to maybe ask for a referral to somebody else. Because, if those guys like you and they're invested in you, they're going to want to see you succeed, so
exactly.
Typically I have no problem asking those guys, because they're like excited, because they know me, they like me. I'm relatively young compared to their ages mostly. So they like, to them, they're almost like investing in themselves at a younger age. And, you guys obviously have the same quality that you can bring to the investors that you work with. And I'm sure you do, where, and then at that point, then you can kind of ask them to bring in other guys. And, it's just so much better when they refer you to their friends than if you try to just go out and, just cold prospect for money. It's tough, or you're going to pay a lot more.
For sure. Mm-hmm. Let's answer some of these questions too regarding marketing. So
sure.
Said is what are your cold call deal to close KPIs looking like, and also when to scale from a one-man show? So Chandler, do you want to take that? Or
for cold call, it's usually about, I think it's like 65 or 70 leads to a contract.
And obviously that's just going to determine on what your script is.
It's
detailed it is. Right.
Those are VAs that you guys have calling?
Yeah, exactly. VAs. So feel free. I mean, I know you said your guys do some cold prospecting through the list and stuff too. So I don't know if you have any messages from that too, Jeffrey.
Yeah, I mean, we don't really, cold calls, like when our guys are calling through lists, it's not quite as tracked as it is with texting. I know for us, we're averaging like 3 to 4 like good contracts a week. And so, that usually means we're bringing in 20 to 30 leads a week. So I guess, we're probably 1 out of 10, give or take. But, I'd say, I don't know what is it? What's your contract to close rate for you guys? For us, it's about 50%.
Contract to close, like the sold deal. Right now we're like 68%. We're normally at like 80. We got a little bit too much inventory for one dispo person, so we're hiring another one.
That's good.
But
contract to close is So, but to appointment to close is around 20%.
Yeah.
And you guys are going on face to face or just phone appointments?
No, just phone appointments.
Yeah. So, our guys are pretty good. I mean, we probably could do better. I think that our Kyle, the head of our acquisition team, he's going to close almost every deal he gets. And then the guys that are a little younger, they're just not quite as experienced and good. So kind of evens itself out a little bit.
No, it makes sense. And lead to close. So how many leads? Yeah, so you answer that question for them. Yours is around 10 to 1. And then ours, obviously, we're doing a lot less, I would say, qualifications on our cold calling and texting. It's just, hey, do you want to sell? And hey, push that person forward. Just to ask a couple questions about timeline, but just get them on into our system for our lead managers. To the touch. So this is a good question. We were talking about this today too, Jeffrey.
Yep.
What platform do you guys use?
Yep. So like I was telling you, we have been with batch leads for a while, and we just had to get off of batch leads because they have kind of been, we were shut down on their account. I don't know about everybody else that uses batch leads, but we got kind of shut out of batch leads. So now we moved into Lead Sherpa, and Lead Sherpa would be good for somebody that doesn't want to do too many texts. Like I was telling you, we've been grandfathered in, so we're able to do thousands and thousands of texts per week. But I think for a new user to come in, I think they're limited to like 1,000. However, I guess like you guys do, you could have multiple accounts that you use, so you can get more than just 1,000 out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I like it.
What do we use?
Sherpa. Oh, we use Launch Control. Yeah. Launch Control and Lead Sherpa. Well, we don't use Lead Sherpa. We just use Launch Control.
Have you guys seen pretty good results from, texting and Launch Control?
Yeah. Super great results, honestly.
How many contacts are this year on text? It's got to be 30 probably.
I bet it's 35 or 40, dude. Honestly, 35 at least. Probably 35, yeah.
From texting. So
that'd be my guess.
Low marketing spend.
Yeah, it's pretty cheap. I think our cost per contract, I did it the other day, was like $900.
Wow, that's really good.
This is pretty cheap.
Yeah, Gino was telling me a little bit just about all the financial numbers that you, Chandler, have in place. Sounds like you got a pretty tight ship you're running over there.
He's trying to keep it tight.
We're trying to run a tight ship. I mean, I got a big zipper to pull up, so
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, if you guys, I think Gino was telling me you have quite a few people on your team, right?
Yeah, I guess we got about 30 now, like 28 to 30, something like that.
Yeah.
So
I mean, yeah, dude, if you don't have your numbers together with that big of a team, it's just going to be absolute chaos.
Yeah, there's definitely like a balancing act. You gotta because you can only look at so much stuff, and you have to just know that you have to have other people, you have to teach other people how to do the same thing you're doing in more detailed fashion to like, a departmental level, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So it's a lot, and it's definitely it's definitely just a learning curve to transition. There's a lot of like things that you suck at and you don't realize that you need to look at until you realize there's a problem, and then you go in and you're like, oh, I probably should have been looking at that. Probably should have a way to, we should probably have a fail safe to realize that this is going on,
Yeah. Well, props to you guys for getting it all kind of figured out. And, and I'm sure you got more to do, but it seems like you got it in a pretty good place right now.
Shoot.
Sure. Yeah, like I was telling you too, on the golf course. On the field. But no, the full disclosure, like, I mean, like last month we struggled. Like I was telling you, like we had like 11 contracts. So going away from our 22 we had the ones before, like we're up 23. Fuck, screw me, makes it even worse. But yeah, no, like, I mean, obviously we're having downhills, but it's being able to alert and see that. And now, actually after this call, me and Chandler, we're going to plan the rest of the year out based on those numbers, how we have to change things, whether that means we got to come in there and, start fidgeting with more marketing and different things to hit our goal, on the year.
The biggest thing is like when you have a bigger boat, because like as you get more people, and this, even if you hire 2 people, 3 people, you just realize the speed at which things change and like how hard it is to turn the boat around or to change the direction of the boat. It's really tough because if, let's say, contracts are down 1 week, you have to just assume, okay, well, we got to give it another week. It could have just been a fluke, right? Second week, you're like, okay, what do we think is going to happen? And put a plan in place. Nothing happens. Third week comes down. You're like, oh, well, fuck. Now at this point, our entire month's down. And like, now it's like, okay, now it's a code red situation. You got to like figure out a lot more things. And you're like, dude. Yeah. So like now it gets to the point where, this is kind of where we're at. Just to be transparent, it's like, you got to go and plan out, okay, well, we missed this month. So what does that do for our resources? We got to reallocate to be able to hit our goal. Yeah.
Yep.
So, now it's, so it's a bunch more problem solving. It's just different problem solving, but it's the same thing. You're just,
question for you guys, like, with that many people on your sales team, how many are on the actual sales team?
So on the sales team, we have, other than this week, just adding one more, but we have 4 total LMs. That's including the LM director. And then we got 3 total AMs, so 7 on the sales team.
So, I mean, that's pretty high amount of salespeople. I mean, how do you guys keep them all like motivated and like, excited to come, like, work and get deals? Because that's a challenge for us, because I mean, these guys, they could get paid a lot. Like if they brought in a lot of deals, they're going to make easy 6 figures. But when they're not performing like that, morale can be low. They can be dragging.
Oh, it is. Yeah, for sure.
How do you guys keep them like up?
So, I mean, obviously keeping them up was when they had 23 the month before, they were all hyped up. But now, like, they come with 11, they're going down. So what I've been doing is especially with the acquisition managers, been having some one-on-one conversations with them, Today, actually, I called them up and said, look, we had a bad, we all know we didn't do that well in April. And it kind of goes back to also what we talked about a little bit, Jeffrey, about the extreme ownership. Like, hey, this is nothing to do with you. This isn't your guys' fault. This is me as the leader. I let you guys down in April. I wasn't attentive to seeing all this stuff fast enough and just letting them know, hey, look, and I actually told one of the guys, it's like, look, your job's not on the line at all. I mean, you brought in like 9 contracts in March. I know this month you only did maybe whatever it was, 3 or 4. But reality is like we're still here. We're ready to go. This is our goal this month. Let's forget about last month. And just to answer your question, like it's just to keep having that conversation with them and, keeping them like close to you because we're not in the office. That's the only negative thing with that, Jeffrey. So we don't see each other every day. We talk to each other every day. But, it's just, again, letting them know the affirmation that, they are the one for the role, that they're going to be able to do it and just look, it's coming, and like today we're going to have 3 contracts and we're signing, one just got sent now. So, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, yeah, like, it's just like the biggest thing is the leadership. You have to be in tune with what's going on, and you have to be an inspiration to everyone who's around. Otherwise, if you're not inspirational or you're negative, then or like just honestly, if you just don't do either, if you're just neutral, then like things just start slipping because one slip here, someone's head drops, then they slip again. They're beat.
Yep.
Then that goes across to everyone in the meetings. So like negativity is super quick to spread. So if, you got to be on top of that. Another thing we've done in the past too is, this got us out of our slump before this too. This is what I did. And Gino's obviously worked too, because instantly we got results right away. So I'm not taking that away. So they both work. But I did these performance reviews, and basically, since my skill is more on like the logic side, is I just had them come down and write down where they want to be, like skill, like some kind of metric wise, where they're at now, and then how can they get there, and like what's keeping them from getting there. And then like we wrote it out, and I basically just made it seem so stupid that like the only reason you're not hitting your goal is because you can't ask the seller good questions. You know what questions to ask, you're just not asking them. And then like they're like, oh, I mean, it's literally so unreasonable for me to be bad that I just should just do this. And they instantly have a boost of confidence, and then instantly turned around too. So it's
That's awesome.
So like both ways, like you have to be the light at the end of the tunnel as the leader.
Oh, I like that a lot, Chandler, because I mean, if they can see like the path for where they want to go, like it makes, the mornings where they're tired and they don't want to come, but they can, see that they can still get to where they want to go. It makes it, worthwhile.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think sales is a lot like a team sport. So like anything you learned in baseball from like the team aspect of like, if you're in a slump, if you're going up to the plate and you're hitting, I don't know, were you a pitcher or hitter? I'm sure you hit either way. Like if you go up, you're like hot, you're like, man, this ball looks like a beach ball. Guaranteed you're gonna hit it hard. You might get out because you hit it right at someone, but you're gonna square it up. Yep. You walk up there thinking, man, I'm struggling right now, I'm nervous. You're probably gonna K up. Actually, like I know I'm talking a lot, but there's one really good study or thing I heard the other day. There was a study, it was a TED Talk. There was 3 groups, and what they had to do, they were tasked to take a song and they were going to sing it. So they walked up to a microphone, no training at all, and they just literally were handed a script and said, sing this for tune, accuracy of words, how good are your lyrics, blah blah blah, the whole 9. So how good of a singer are you? There's 3 groups. One group said nothing before, and they just walked up to the mic and started singing. Another group walked up and said, I'm nervous, and then the other group walked up and said, I'm excited. So the results were pretty sweet, right? It was pretty cool. So the group that said nothing just walked up, they scored like a 65% accuracy. The group that said I'm nervous scored like a 50%, and the group that said I'm excited scored like an 80%. So just because of their mindset, they were almost twice as good as the group that said they're nervous. Mm-hmm. So I mean, it's the same thing. I think it all.
It's mental. It's a mental game. You're playing against yourself.
So then if you're playing golf and you go to the tee box and you say, I'm going to hit this ball right down the middle of the fairway, 300 yards, it's going to happen. That's what golf is,
golf is another beast, bro. I don't know. Sometimes that shit just doesn't go straight, no matter how hard you think it into existence.
Yeah, I know what you mean. And you just want to break the club in half and you want to scream, and it's just so frustrating.
Yeah, that was a couple things, some longest drives today.
Yeah.
Did Gino break any irons? Did he break any shafts?
No, I was telling him about that though.
No, there was a couple holes I was getting a little worried. I was trying to calm them down a little bit.
I was hitting a lot in the trees, man. I took some houses out, some $1 million houses, no doubt. But
oh yeah,
I took my proper drops.
Yep. For those of you who don't know, Jeffrey and Gino played golf this morning. So Jeffrey. they got a little Jeffrey, aren't you like pretty dang good, bro? You're like
Jeffrey shot 82.
I'm a little better than Gino, but I'm also quite a bit worse than Tiger. So kind of in the middle between Tiger and Gino.
That's a pretty big landscape here.
You're swimming in a big range right there. That's a big mode.
You're swimming in a big
median. Man. That's a big median.
If anyone knows what a box and whisker plots is, that's a big old box.
Yeah.
Left to right.
Look, my goal, man, is just one day I just want to play just one hole with Tiger. That's all I want. If I can just play one hole with Tiger, I'll just quit golf forever.
God, you might need to go door knocking.
You better not say that into existence, because last time you spoke something into existence, it happened first hole. So,
all right, I'm not going to quit, but I could quit. That's how happy I'd be.
Yeah. No, first hole was not. He did not speak into. He did the opposite. It was not birdie. It was a eagle.
Yep.
It wasn't even that.
That's reckless. Gino, do you want us to walk us through that eagle? Like,
I don't know, man. We're about to answer these questions, but what was going through my head was I got a pretty good drive off the top, and then 58 half swing. Took a freaking bounce off the hill, and hey, we didn't see it go in, but we went around, and Big Jeffrey saw it in the hole before me, and that was it. Jeffrey was more excited than me.
Man, it's like this elevated green. So we drive up and we don't see his ball. He's like, "Oh, it's over the green." I'm like, "I don't know, man. I think you hit a pretty good shot." And I like run up and look at the cup, and I don't say anything. And he just comes over with this big smile, and we both just look in the cup, and the ball's right there. And I'm just like, "Dude, you like, he won $200 on that one shot." So I was just like, "Are you kidding me?"
No. What you asked me too, just before that, we're gonna get into your guys' questions. We're going next, Isaiah, with yours. But what he asked me was like, right when I hit it, he's like, his ego counts to the wager if we get it better than a birdie. I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's got to. Like, we didn't even know it was in yet. We're like, bro. And I wasn't even thinking why you were asking me that. Like, I had no like belief that went in the hole. I was just like, nah. Yeah, we'll count that. Didn't I say that should be $400? Like when we got in the cart.
I don't remember hearing that.
Yeah,
that's how convenient.
I did as a joke, but I did kind of mumble it. I was like, yeah, the eagle should be like $400. I just didn't even think I was even close on this hole. Like I was just messing around, and then we look. You're like, wait, it might be in the hole because we couldn't see it. Like, no.
Yep.
But anyway, yeah, we'll stop talking about that for everyone. They're like, what the hell? That's like the third time.
I'm sure it's an iconic moment in Gino's life right there.
Yep.
It hasn't sat with me yet. I don't know the importance because I haven't been playing that much. But now, like, I've only birdied like 7 holes, and I get a damn eagle.
Yep.
But
and what hold out?
Hold out. It wasn't a putt.
It was a par 4. That's a pretty good little thing. But all right, let's hit Isaiah's question.
What platform do you pay your VAs on? I guess that's Zoom and Remitly. And Remitly is asking for bank accounts, which I don't want to give them. Bank statements. Sorry.
You have to give it to them. They're just gonna make sure you have income. That's all. But
I think Chandler knows about this. But we also pay a lot of them on PayPal, but that's because they have some American bank account or something.
Yeah, PayPal, or some have like Zelle. But I mean, yeah, you just got to do it, man. It's not gonna. They're just making sure you ain't a broke boy and they ain't gonna get screwed holding the bag. Because the way they do it is go ahead.
We use PayPal too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, PayPal should be a lot of them.
For sure. And how long is y'all's average lead inception to contract currently? So to contract, not to contract close, lead to contract. Chandler, I think we have ours on here on our main thing.
Yeah, ours is roughly like, it's like roughly like 20 days, 20, 25.
From lead to contract.
Yeah, I wish I knew mine, but I couldn't. I mean, if I had to guess, I'd say probably 2 to 3 weeks,
Yeah.
Just because usually you got to kind of get through the first couple calls where they say no and then follow up. So, but I don't, good for you guys for having the exact number.
Shoot, honestly, like it's just an average. So like if we pulled, I mean, I did do like the only reason I know this really well is because like 2 weeks ago, I actually pulled an entire report and did this. But out of all the deals we closed, and this is like something that we identified in our process where we're maybe missing opportunities, is like 75% of our contracts we locked. Actually, I lied. 60% of our contracts we locked up on the same day that the appointment was set. So and Eric Brewer had said that it should be 70% follow up and 30% lockup. So like potentially we're leaving something on the table. Don't know. Maybe not. Maybe we're just really good at getting people signed on the first day. Maybe that's something we're really great at. I don't know. But you have to assume that we're probably missing out on something possibly. So, and then on the front side, I think like 40% of people is what the number was, were sent over on the first day they came in as a lead to be an appointment. So if that gives you any insight, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. You don't really need to know those numbers unless you're doing like there's only marginal improvement from knowing those numbers, but it's nice to know an average so you can predict cash.
Mm-hmm. What CRM do you guys use?
Salesforce. With Left Main.
Have you ever used Podio before?
Yeah, we have.
Yeah, we used Podio for like 3 years.
So what made you guys decide to switch? And have you seen is it quite a bit better on Salesforce?
It's like not even. It's like playing in like D3 NAIA baseball versus like MLB Pro. Like that's like the level of like the league you're in.
It's a big,
just like you can, I know it's a big change. You can literally do anything. Maybe it's like rookie ball to like, MLB, but you can literally do anything you can imagine in Salesforce.
And it doesn't crash on you. Like, I've Podio,
yeah.
Especially when you have a big system in there. Like we had a pretty good built out Podio and it would like crash.
Yeah. It just doesn't work every time,
Interesting.
Salesforce is very
what is your cost for left main?
I think we spend like
$5K up front, or is it $10K up front? I forgot.
It's $7. I think it's $7K now up front is what they charge, and then like you got to pay for the phone system, which maybe smartphones included in that price. 360 was like $5,000, another $5,000. So we paid like $10K monthly. We got 16, 18 users. I think we pay about $3,000 a month with all the phone numbers and everything. It might be $3,500.
And it's pretty expensive. But you're good.
So how Steve explained it too, another good way, Steve Trang, he explained it like it's like you going from a Chevy to a Cadillac.
That's
like
your
repairs are more expensive if you're in that Porsche Taycan. It'd be more expensive. That's what JJ drives over there. If you go from that Porsche to that Chevy, you're gonna have more expenses and oil changes not in the electric car, but you know what I'm saying. So
yeah, that's interesting.
Go ahead.
Well, I think it's really, I didn't know you guys use that, and I'm glad that you do. We'll have to maybe talk even more after this podcast, but I had no idea it was that big of a difference. And, I don't think it mattered. I know a lot of the people that probably listen to this aren't exactly, don't have 30 employees and they're not making, 20 contracts a month, whatever.
Exactly.
So maybe it doesn't matter quite as much for them. So, but for our team, sounds like it could be a pretty big difference maker.
Yeah. My advice is if you have a sales team to manage, like let's just say 2 to 3 people, then Salesforce is a game changer because of the data clarity.
Interesting. And that's Stephanie Betters that set that up.
Yeah, for sure.
Stephanie, not for sure. Yeah, that is Stephanie.
Yeah, like I don't know. This is the funniest shit. I always say like stuff like, I think that this is true, or I think this is the way it is, or whatever. He's like, do you think, or do you know? I'm like, of course I know. I always just say this like shit that makes me sound on the fence sometimes.
It's always indecisive.
I'm glad you guys told me that. That's pretty cool. Somehow I thought it was like $100K to set it up, and so I just never really pursued it.
Yeah. No, if you did it through like a developer, and you got someone to build it out for you, you would drop a quick 100, 200K.
More than that, yeah.
You'd be dropping a band.
So do you run your like the cold calling happens through Salesforce?
No. We use we use a dialer, like we use call tools, and then all the leads that we get in, they get submitted into. We only allow people that say yes, they want to sell into our Salesforce. Never anything.
No, Jeffrey, that's not a terrible idea though. Like I actually did think about doing that. It's just it doesn't make enough difference.
It's gonna freaking.
It's just like a lot of extra like pain in the ass work.
Data and it doesn't need to be there.
It's not worth it. There is some pros to it because like if someone calls you on your list, it tells you who it is. There is definitely pros, but there's also a lot of cons.
Yeah.
But
all right, let's get it here. So Isaiah had another question. What are your guys' top 3 greetings and opening text messages to a seller to get the text to bypass looking like a bot? You want to answer this, Jeffrey, first? Do you know?
I honestly I'm not super involved in the texting, but I know that my my assistant that runs it, I know that you really can't say like top 3 greetings because every single week they change because if you keep them the same, I know that they'll flag you and you got to just constantly change them. So, I think hers are pretty much like you guys, like she sets them up where it's just like, you want to sell your home, for cash. Essentially, that's what the message is trying to convey. But she's always changing how we say it. What about you guys? Do you have to do that too?
Yeah, we have like a full-time person that all they do is just write templates. I think this is what we decided like a year and a half ago is what we're going to do is literally just write messages that say, hey, are you interested in selling? And however many different ways they can possibly do it or something like that. Or would you like a cash offer or something like that for or an offer for their property? or we'll say like, hey, first name, and that's it. Like those are
Just
the
depends
three.
where it's at, because you're getting flagged if you say cash offer. Like there's no doubt you're getting
You
flagged.
can't say and we used to use Greek letters, but I think they changed that on launch control. Like I think the carriers got smart and figured out you can't they know what a Greek letter is. So
how would you use the Greek letters?
Like we'll use like a Greek O and say, are you looking, because you can't say looking to sell or something like that. Hey, are you looking to sell your property? So we use a Greek O, or we'd use a Greek A and be like, would you like a cash offer, or whatever, like the words would that you couldn't say, like they had those letters like an L. So yeah, you just toss that in there and it worked.
Have you guys ever just sent like 3 emojis, the guy with the tongue and the money symbols in his eyes
and a house next to it? Honestly,
question mark.
Honestly, may not be a bad call.
Emojis. I don't know how they trigger emojis.
I wonder what that would.
You have to have certain things in there.
I wonder what that would look like. Yeah, they make you have like on launch until they make you. I actually looked at this the other day because I set up some dispo thing where we're making a template. So I had to make a template, but you have to have like a merge field, which means like you have to say like some data. Yeah, like it's gotta be like a merge field. I think is like insert property address, first name, whatever, and then there's a spinner token, which is like you would put in like 3 scenarios. Like you'd say, hey, hello, hi, and each message is different that it sends out.
Yeah, launch control is very good at that. That's something to look at too. I know you're switching to Sherpa, Jeffrey, but like launch control, like Chandler said, that's a big give that they do those spinner tokens. Like they make you create your template. So like again, Chandler explained to you, is like if you have a message that says hey, and it's not going to, so get flagged. We say, hey, do you want to sell your house? It'll make you do a spinner token, at least one. So your hey could be sent out 3 different ways. Hey, hello, hi.
Yeah.
Do you want to get rid of /sell /dispose of your home? And so it could say, hey, do you want to get rid of your house? Hey, do you want to dispose of your house? And they can there's like 9 variations, 3 times 3.
And then you got now you can have 150 because you can only send out a batch of 150, but then you can have like 150 variations or different versions of that template. So that, and then now our delivery rates are like 95%.
Mm-hmm. Huh. Interesting. Yeah. I wonder, I'm sure nobody from AT&T or Verizon is listening to this, but if they are, they're probably just like so pissed listening to us talk about this.
Dude, so funny. And we just actually, our COO for Level Up, Ryan, is from AT&T. So hopefully he won't give him the inside scoop.
Yeah, they probably like going to kick these guys off immediately.
Dude, good thing they don't know what's their phone number.
Or can you recommend a person or company that can set up a drip campaign into my Podio?
I mean, if you're using beast mode or something like that, it should be pretty much easy plug and play.
Not using it. Beast mode has those already built. So beast mode's another type of Podio. It's like an app for Podio, beast mode, and it's like $200 a month. But yeah, their CRM has the drip features. Do you know anyone, Jeffrey, because you're using it, that might?
Honestly, we do. We've had it all built out by different VAs. So, my assistant, she's just kind of set it all up on her own, Gotcha. So if that person wanted a referral to one of those guys, I'd be happy to hook it up.
We'll get your information.
Hit Jeffrey up. Jeffrey, you can get in contact with Jeffrey in just a minute. He'll tell you how. But another thing is you can just look up Podio automation people on Fiverr too if you need to.
Yeah.
When in doubt, go on Fiverr and you can find it.
Yep.
100% against you unless you're playing chess. I think I might have missed that.
He was talking about that just like when you're in the baseball.
Yeah. Okay.
Isaiah has another thing.
Yes, the answer is yes. They just said, okay, you can send that much. You could either get approval, send more or something. Okay. These companies are legit, by the way. Like it's not like you can look them up. Like they're United States companies.
Yeah,
they're not scammers.
And we got Dialer CRM only has 6 sellers of 6 months time frame. Okay, that want to sell within 6 months. Okay, that's one way to do it. Gino shared templates with me last year. Appreciate you guys. Yeah, I probably sent some over to you last year. I think it was Alex said that as well. And Alex also has the question of what is your texting platform? I used Batch Leads in the past. What are you using now?
Yep, like I said, we use Sherpa. We were using Batch, but now we're on Sherpa.
Lead Sherpa.
Yep.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. What other question you guys have? I know we only got a couple more minutes here. We're about to head up here. While we're waiting for more questions, Jeffrey, or one more, why don't you tell everyone how they can get a hold of you?
Yeah, so my Instagram is my name, Jeffrey Johnson 22. That's the best way to contact me directly. And then our website and our company is synergyinvesting.com. So you could also go through there. So, but if you want to talk to me, go to my Instagram, because if you go to our website, it's not going to come to me. So,
even if you ask for him, they're not going to get to you.
Yeah, and if they do send you to me, then whoever sent you to me is going to be fired. So,
exactly.
So I would go to my Instagram unless you want to get my assistant in trouble. And yeah, I mean, I'm happy, and I'm sure you guys get hit up with questions often, Gino and Chandler, about like how to do stuff. But like I said, I mean, if somebody's got some effort that they've put forward and they genuinely want to learn, like I'm always happy to tell somebody how to do something, because, there's more than enough out there for everybody in real estate. And, I like to see people succeed. I think it's cool.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. I love it. Isaiah's got one more question. You answered it earlier, but just give a brief overview on it.
This year, 60% of our deals has come from texting. So it's definitely really, I mean, it's a great resource, especially if you're a smaller show, because it's so scalable. You can do so many, and then you can just,
it's so fast too.
Mm-hmm, your guys can just sit there and answer them. And it's great. We love texting.
All right. So, I guess like pretty much, I mean, we're coming up here on time. So Jeffrey, I appreciate having you on, man. It was I enjoyed the show, dude.
For sure,
I look forward to getting down to Atlanta so I can go show you that I actually do sometimes shoot in the 80s.
Hey man,
shoot, man. Yeah,
you just let me know. Let's put some money on a round. We'll go out and we'll play.
Put some money on. We play Scramble. What's your dispo guy? Your partner?
Kyle.
That's right. What does Kyle shoot usually?
The better question is, how many beers does Kyle drink on the golf course?
I'm just going to see for an even battle between me and Chandler and you and Kyle.
That'd be a lot of fun, because Kyle would just distract you guys, because he'd almost kill you with the cart, and then I'd just be out there throwing darts into the pin.
I like it. So Jeff, before we hang up though, or end the live here, what's some one thing you want to leave the listeners with?
It's a good question. I think the best thing to leave somebody with, I mean, I assume most people that watch this are, probably pretty interested in real estate investing. So I would just say, like, the best thing you can do, and I'm sure people say this all the time, is, take action, ask good questions, go out there, educate yourself, because real estate investing it's just absolutely life-changing. I mean, you guys know, you could set your family up for years to come. You can set yourself up for years to come. You can have freedom. You can control your time, control your life. Anybody can do it. There's no doubt about it, but only if you actually do.
I like it.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you guys you having me, and just, getting the chance to talk.
Yeah.
Sure, man. Thanks for coming on. And if you guys have any questions, leave it down below when you watch this recording. Leave them down below as well. And thanks for watching.
Cool.
Yep. We'll see you next week.